Most of us remember Princess Diana for her wedding, a fairy tale event watched by the world. We remember the dress, the diamonds, the carriage, and that perfect, hopeful smile. But behind the flash of the cameras, away from the cheering crowds and the glittering palaces, there was another story unfolding. It was a story of profound courage, of deep loneliness, and of a young woman who, through simple kindness, would go on to change the world. Her story begins on July 1st, 1961. Born Diana Frances Spencer, she was the youngest daughter of a noble family, but she wasn't born a princess. Not yet. Her childhood was filled with simple joys. She loved walking through quiet gardens, the sound of birdsong her only company. She played with her siblings, lost herself in books, and dreamed of a life filled with love, freedom, and hope. A life that was hers to shape. Then, at just 19 years old, her entire world changed in an instant. She married Prince Charles, the heir to the British throne. Suddenly, she was no longer just a girl from a noble family. She was Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales. She was royalty, living in Buckingham Palace. It was a world of immense history, overwhelming grandeur, and a labyrinth of rules she had never been taught. Cameras followed her every move. Reporters documented her every word. The entire world was watching, judging, measuring, and comparing her every smile, every gesture, every glance. Imagine being a teenager thrust into that spotlight. She was so young, trying her best to navigate a life she couldn't have prepared for. She was hopeful, but she was also scared and completely overwhelmed. In private moments, she must have wondered if she could ever do it, if she could ever survive the immense pressure. But then something shifted. A powerful realization dawned on her. She realized she didn't just have to survive. She could make a real difference. She could use her position not for prestige, but for purpose. She could care. She could help. She could shine her own light in the darkest of places. And so, Diana began her true work. She started visiting hospitals, spending time in children's wards, and sitting with patients whom others often overlooked. She met people that society preferred not to see. She didn't just show up for a photo. She held hands. She comforted grieving families. She listened intently to their stories. She smiled with them, laughed with them, and when their pain was too great, she cried with them. In an era gripped by fear and misinformation, she famously visited children with AIDS. While others recoiled, she held their small hands. She hugged them tightly. She spoke to them softly, assuring them with her actions that they were not alone, that they were worthy of love and touch. Her compassion knew no borders. She walked through active minefields to raise awareness for landmine victims. She met with refugees, the homeless, the sick, and the frightened. She looked into the eyes of people who had lost everything, who were enduring unimaginable suffering, and she simply could not look away. This wasn't for show. Even when the tabloids criticized her motives, even when the world doubted her sincerity, she cared. She truly, genuinely cared. Her empathy became her crown. Her compassion became her true legacy. But behind this public strength, her private life was far from a fairy tale. Her marriage was turbulent and filled with sorrow. Her heart was often broken. Her life was scrutinized with a relentless, unforgiving intensity. Her every move was analyzed, every word questioned, every smile examined for hidden meaning. And yet, even in her darkest personal moments, she continued to give. Even when grappling with her own sadness, she reached out to others. Even when she was afraid, she acted with immense courage. Even when she was in pain, she made others feel a sense of hope. She learned to smile when it hurt, to laugh when she felt lonely, to give even when she felt broken, and to love even when she was afraid. Slowly but surely, the world began to see past the headlines and the glamour. They saw her raw humanity. They saw her heart. They saw her courage and her unwavering compassion. She was no longer just a princess by title. In the eyes of millions, she became the people's princess, a mother, a daughter, a friend, a symbol of hope, a light in the world. Even after her divorce from Prince Charles, a period of intense personal upheaval, she never stopped caring. Even after the heartbreak, she continued her charitable work with renewed vigor. Even under the media's relentless gaze, she remained steadfast in her kindness. She continued to step into dangerous places, to visit hospitals and war zones, and to sit with children who had no one else. She showed the world that vulnerability is not weakness, but a source of incredible strength. That compassion is a powerful form of influence. That kindness is its own kind of power. Decades later, her story continues to inspire us. She was so much more than a princess. She was an extraordinary human being who reminded us all of a fundamental truth, that empathy can change everything. That courage can be gentle. That love can endure. That strength can be quiet. Her legacy lives on. It lives in the hearts of the millions she touched. It lives in the way we now see royalty, not just as figureheads, but as human beings with the potential for great impact. It lives in the way we see our shared humanity and in the enduring belief that kindness, above all else, truly matters. Princess Diana. She cared. She truly cared. She really cared. She shined. She inspired. She transformed the world. Before she was ever crowned the Queen of Hearts, she was a young woman shaped by immense challenges. A girl who learned early and often what it means to be human in a world that can be both beautiful and cruel. And from that girl came the people's princess. The one who showed the world that true royalty is measured not by crowns or jewels or palaces, but by the size of one's heart, by the depth of one's compassion, and by the quiet courage to make a difference. She will forever remain a symbol of hope, a symbol of humanity, and a symbol of an enduring, unbreakable strength. Thank you for watching.